Genesis 4 verse 1. Adam made love to his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. Eve acknowledges God's help in bearing Cain. Genesis 4 verse 2. Later she gave birth to his brother Abel. Abel becomes a shepherd and Cain a farmer, setting up their roles. Genesis 4 verse 3. In the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord. Cain offers produce to God. Genesis 4 verse 4. And Abel also brought an offering, fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. Abel's offering is from his best sheep. Genesis 4 verse 5. But on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. God accepts Abel's offering but not Cain's, leading to Cain's anger. Genesis 4 verse 6. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast?" God addresses Cain's emotional state. Genesis 4 verse 7. If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? God advises Cain on making better choices and warns him about sin. Genesis 4 verse 8. Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let's go out to the field." Cain attacks and kills Abel in the field, committing the first murder. Genesis 4 verse 9. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" God confronts Cain about Abel's whereabouts. Genesis 4 verse 10. The Lord said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." God condemns Cain's actions. Genesis 4 verse 11. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground. God curses Cain, making him a restless wanderer. Genesis 4 verse 12. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. The land will resist Cain's efforts, adding to his punishment. Genesis 4 verse 13. Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is more than I can bear." Cain fears his fate as a wanderer and his vulnerability. Genesis 4 verse 14. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. Cain expresses fear of retribution. Genesis 4 verse 15. But the Lord said to him, "Not so. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over." God places a mark of protection on Cain. Genesis 4 verse 16. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain settles far from God's presence. Genesis 4 verse 17. Cain made love to his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Cain's lineage begins with his son Enoch. Genesis 4 verse 18. To Enoch was born Irad. Cain's descendants continue with Irad, Mehujael, Methuselah, and Lamech. Genesis 4 verse 19. Lamech married 2 women, one named Ada and the other Zillah. Lamech becomes the first polygamist mentioned in Scripture. Genesis 4 verse 20. Ada gave birth to Jabal. He was the father of those who live in tents and raise livestock. Jabal is the ancestor of herders. Genesis 4 verse 21. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all who play stringed instruments and pipes. Jubal becomes the ancestor of musicians. Genesis 4 verse 22. Zillah also had a son, Tubal-Cain, who forged all kinds of tools out of bronze and iron. Tubal-Cain is the ancestor of metalworkers. Genesis 4 verse 23. Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, "Listen to me. I have killed a man for wounding me." Lamech boasts of his violence. Genesis 4 verse 24. If Cain is avenged 7 times, then Lamech 77 times. Lamech claims an exaggerated vengeance. Genesis 4 verse 25. Adam made love to his wife again, and she gave birth to a son and named him Seth. Seth is born as a new hope for humanity. Genesis 4 verse 26. Seth also had a son, and he named him Enosh. At that time, people began to call on the name of the Lord. Humanity begins to seek God formally.